All right, we're back. How's it going tonight, Zach?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Joe?
Doing pretty good. After a long whirlwind weekend, had a nice chill weekend this weekend with my kids and the wife, hanging out with Jackie for her 16th birthday. So
Ooh, what'd you do for that?
we went to Claw Machine Arcade. Just she loves claw machines. So we found one that specializes in just claw machines. And then we have a Korean mall in Minnesota. We went there as well.
Oh, it's in the Korean mall.
Oh, lots of good stuff. I forget the name of the store, but there's one store my daughter likes. There's a good boba tea place. There's just a ton of just Korean stuff. There's a Korean supermarket in there.
Those
Almost
places are
impossible.
crazy.
Yeah, almost impossible to find parking. Had to drive around about 15 minutes for a space to open up.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. What have you been
Good.
up to this weekend?
This weekend didn't really do a whole bunch. Just kind of did a couple chores around the house. Went out to dinner last night to our favorite pizza place called Cole's. It's rated
Nice.
top 50 in the U.S.
So is that like a brick fireplace?
Mm-hmm.
We have
Except
one of
it's
those.
coal.
It's what?
Except it's coals. Like they use wood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got a brick fireplace in Elk River that's I don't know if they're top. They've been rated excellent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you gotta appreciate good pizza. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
also
then
like some Papa John's. So like,
I do too. It's like pizza's pizza to a point.
to a
I
point.
there, I've never really found any that I hate. One of my favorite pizzas comes from a gas station. Have you ever had Casey's Pizza?
I have. It's not bad.
Yeah, not one of my favorites, I should say. Yeah. So we got a few things to get into this week. Oh, I also got the iRacing sim hooked up. I've
Yeah,
been
you were doing some racing earlier.
Yeah, I've been doing iRacing here and there, and I've been using the VR headset, and that puts a whole nother immersion in there. But what they don't tell you, well, they do tell you, you need to read the instructions and the warnings. Um, the direct drive wheels will just about rip your shoulders out of your sockets if you're not prepared for it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because I was out doing a first test run with it. Yeah, I crashed and I held onto the wheel. And when you let somebody pull a Kimura a little too far and your shoulder gets that weird stretch?
Uh-huh.
That happened.
Oh boy.
So I turned that right down. I can't get injured sim racing. I refuse.
You almost did.
I almost did. I can't. I won't. Anyway, yeah, no sponsors this week. So let's see. We should talk about last week. Because last
Okay.
week was wild. Hey, Austin, checking in. How's it going, Austin? So last week, both you and I were at the Clash of Champions. You were there for a day. I was there for the whole thing, basically, except for the Traxxas race and practice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there
So
for. I ended up being there for about 2 days, but
I was there. I got in Thursday. Well, technically Friday at midnight, and then got a few hours of sleep. Went to the track, and they made the decision, which was a good decision. Hey, we're going to cut this a day early because you guys have been dealing with some severe winter weather.
it's not that bad. But the people here and the utilities,
Yeah, I was
and all
gonna say.
they don't understand it's just snow and ice. Like they're completely ill prepared for it.
Well, you guys probably don't have many plow trucks, many sand trucks, all that stuff.
According to the official site, there's 300 employees and 161 vehicles.
Dang. Well,
That should be enough. I'm no snow clearing expert, but that should be enough.
yeah, it should be. But so from Saturday night to Sunday morning, I didn't sleep because we got back from the track. Well, we went to B Dubs, got some food to go quick, and we got back at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And my Uber was there at 4 a.m. to bring me to the airport.
Mm.
So it's like no sleeping. uh, that had to have hit me the worst of everything.
The Sunday no sleep.
Yeah.
Did you get to sleep on the plane at all, or?
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee somewhere out there there's a TikTok video of me just fucking snoring on a plane. I guarantee there. That's the only reason I hope that platform does get banned on the 20th, so all the plane snoring videos of me go away. Haven't seen any, but I know they're out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick Andrew checking in, Lance Parker, Evan Tapp. Evan was at the Clash as well.
Mm-hmm. I missed Evan. I was trying to make time, and I had some stuff come up, and I wasn't able to stay there for as long as I wanted to.
Well, there were 202 drivers and I believe 500 and some odd entries.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on the numbers, but that's
It was had to have been one of the largest 10 scale events in recent history.
yeah. Well, they had, I don't know the last, because they had the record for the largest one in like 2000, like the second year they did it, they were like
Yep.
465 or something.
I think we had 505.
Yeah, so they were 505 this year.
Yeah.
520, 201 drivers.
Oh. Huh. Well. But
Man,
the thing is, so it adds drivers. So when he added those Clash mains, that added drivers onto the end.
Okay, we'll take off 20. So 500.
Yeah. Evan said we drove after the mains home, got home at 9 a.m. Sunday. Hey, man, you got home before me. I should have rode with you.
Look, I'll tell you, you guys didn't want to be here on Sunday because Sunday about 8 a.m. it started to snow.
Oh.
And then it stopped snowing about noon. We got about 6 inches in that time, which isn't anything crazy. But then it sleeted and rained for like 3 hours. And we got about 2 inches of ice.
Yeah. When we're sitting on the runway, it just started as like, I want to say we actually wheels up was 7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, SIC. So we got a lot. So Dakota Fenn, Spencer Rivkin, epic battle in Wheeler. It was Dakota's to lose, and he did.
Clash, yeah, well, he did. Yeah, for Wheeler, he did it in it was Brock in two-wheel drive.
Yeah, Brock in two-wheel. I mean, I'll say this: Dakota was the only one on a new platform that he was unfamiliar with that had his regular, if not better, success.
I would say it was better.
Well, he doubled up last year.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so first weekend out on the cars, like I would say it's better just because of that.
Yeah. Definitely, because we had a lot of new guys on Schumacher that were showing moments of brilliance, but couldn't quite put together a run, especially in Wheeler. They need to get rid of that belt Wheeler. Period. The end. It's not touring car. They need a shaft drive Wheeler, and I'm sure they know that at this point. And I bet there's something coming. There has to be. Matt Del Judas checking in. Just want to thank Zach for sponsoring and supporting the Motive Midwest All-Star Carpet Series group. We had event number 4 on Saturday at Spranzy Raceway in Waterloo, Wisconsin. 72 entries. Next event is February 8th at the Lower Level Raceway in Niles, Michigan, which Zach is attending, right, Zach?
I will be there with my touring car, and
Awesome.
yep. And don't worry, Matt. I'll put you one lap down.
Zach sent a satchel of stuff for door prizes. You know, Matt was really racy at the Christmas Classic. I want to say he's the most racy in the super stock. I want to say he TQ'd that, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Matt was showing serious freaking speed at the Classic.
Very good.
Yeah. He TQ'd one of them, and I don't think he won any of them, but TQing, we had 10 million rounds of freaking qualifying. Everybody else had plenty of chances.
My goodness. It was probably like 3 rounds.
5? 5 sounds right.
Oh,
4
geez,
or 5.
4 is sometimes maximum, but depends on entries.
I want to say Friday night it was 4. We had one Friday night and then 3 on Saturday. So, but yeah, man. I mean, who stood out to you? Like, what stood out to me was Rivkin's ability just to put his head down in the wheeler and do what he did. And then same with the Clash race as well for $2,500.
I agree. However, I didn't get to watch the Clash race. I got to watch the mains for 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive.
Yep.
And the reason Dakota lost is because that one section, I don't know if he was tired or got too cocky or confident, whatever word you would like, but that section he wrecked like 3 times.
Yeah.
If he hadn't done that, if he just kept it clean, it would have been and lost a half a second a lap. He would have easily won. He was the fastest car there, hands
the only one in the sub-20s. He got a 19.9.
Yeah.
But
he only got one. But yes.
Yeah. He crashed there in round number 1, and that's why Chase Lemieux got the TQ and Wheeler in round number 1. Round number 2, he had 99.1% consistency. I mean, that's just in off-road. You know, I get it with on-road. Oh, is Matt saying Jeff TQ'd. Got it. Evan struggled for consistency just because each round the track was so different grip-wise. I could understand that.
Yeah, I heard the opposite. I heard people say the track was really consistent. So
well,
I don't know.
I was seeing different from the booth. I really was.
Okay.
In the mains, it was pretty good. Lee Grace checking in from Australia. In the mains, it was pretty good. I want to say it was round 2, and you really saw it happen with the stadium trucks. And then from the stadium trucks on, you really saw it. It's like coming onto that that section Dakota crashed in, and then you come around on that front double. You could really see it right there. It got like ice. And then round 2, it was just gnarly. Round 3, it came back. Round 3, it looked phenomenal. And then the mains, the grip looked like Velcro, like off the hook.
Yeah, maybe it just took a little bit to break it in there, pull it around.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, I gotta say though, I mean, I've never been there until I've heard about it. I'm like, yeah, you know, I've been to some good places. You know, I've been to the Hobbyplex, I've been to Island, I've been lots of places. The Hoosier Hobbyplex is tied, three-way tie for the best facility in the country. I really think. I think you have the Hobbytown Hobbyplex in Omaha. They offer a little bit more. They offer carpet off-road and on-road.
Mm-hmm.
Island is pretty similar to, like, not layout wise, but like what they offer to Hoosier Hobbyplex, except their off-road track is carpet. I could definitely say it's the best indoor clay off-road track in the country.
Have you been to Hobby Action?
I've watched the Worlds.
Yeah, I did too, but I hadn't. That's the only other track I would probably take in consideration.
I want to say, just from view wise, like vision wise, and like, do you notice? And I wonder, I mean, I'm sure he built it in on purpose. The track was at an angle like this, so the back section was a little higher, and then he kept going down as you were going through. I mean, dude, it was, I mean, they put thought into that.
Yeah, Eddie has come a long way in his layouts and how he designs them, and that was a feature I think he put in last year. And it really does make it easier to see. You have these nice big elevations in the back.
Yep.
That seem less far away, because this track, I don't know how big it is, but it's probably like 200 by 120, something. It's ginormous. Big. It might be bigger than that.
The top guys were doing 20-second laps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's big in off-road. Like Island Speedway in Muscatine is a huge carpet track, and we're doing like 13s. So it's
let's wrap it up on the Clash and keep moving.
Yeah.
So who surprised you at the event?
Well, obviously Dakota, because we didn't know what the heck was going to happen there, and he didn't miss a beat. I want to say Aiden Horn, though. He didn't get a lot of attention because he was running between that 3rd and 6th spot, you know, mixing it up in there. But he looked pretty speedy on those new Hot Race tires. So it was definitely a J-Con weekend. Like, did you? Oh, you weren't there.
Always.
You left early, but Jason took all the winning cars with their trophies and lined them up. And it was every class. And dude, I mean, J-Con, but definitely though, that Hot Race tire, when Aiden was using it, looked really good. Oh yeah, you know, Jason makes a point. Adrian Stillwell in the independent classes, he just put his head down and drove. I bugged Matt Olson about this, and I'm gonna bug him some more about it. Patrick Rossiter, and I forget who took second, but Patrick and the second place dude in the short course class made like a professional wrestling promo afterwards on the mod cameras. It was freaking awesome. But yeah, are you still there, this is Zach? Uh-oh, I think Zach's frozen. So, oh no, he disappeared. That's all right. He'll come back in. I bet we're going to go into the SIC next. Yep, he just disappeared. Yeah, man, it's so cool. It was such a fun race. I got the opportunity last second to do it, and I had to say yes. And because of it now, and we'll talk about this in a little bit or at the end, I held out pretty well throughout that whole event. So I'm going to do the TNR race, the A scale event at the end of January, early February. So yeah. Oh, Zach's coming back. Gotta add him. All right, there's Zach.
So I don't know what happened, but what I was saying is that the Lips silver compound, Lips 2 silver compound
You mean Smoothie too?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm an on-road guy. My bad.
Yeah.
That's the tire to have at Hoosier. That's, I don't know why, but it works really good there.
Well, you know, sometimes every track has their tire. They really do. One of my buddies runs oval in, like, I believe upstate New York, and raw speeds are the tire. You know what I mean?
Apparently, raw speeds are pretty good now.
Raw speeds, no, they've been. So before I was a J Concepts driver, I had bought a lot of raw speed tires because our local clay track, the 510, nothing felt better, and I didn't even come close to lap times with any other tire than, I believe it was the Raw Speed Radar in the rear and the Raw Speed 2+2 in the front. It was phenomenal. But then I went to another clay track. I would go right to the J Concept Silvers. You know, it all depends. It's very track dependent. But speaking of, Ryan Lutz looked phenomenal this weekend.
Yeah, he looked really good. He got I think he
TQ in a
second. Yeah, he got second in the Nitro buggy, and he ended up getting he finished 7th in points for e-buggy, which isn't as good. He had a couple rough goes.
He finished 9th in e-buggy, but it's e-buggy. You know, those guys.
Oh, I'm reading the. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. So Dakota Fend doubled up.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially could have tripled up.
Potentially, but
the airline lost his truggy.
Apparently, he was on Rent-A-Rides for the other ones.
Yeah, he was on Chickies.
Yeah, just crazy. I mean, so,
to be fair, for like, I mean, Chicky's not even an old dude. I mean, he's an old dude. He's an older dude, but for his age, man, Chicky is really fast.
There's a lot of guys right now that are like 55 to 70 years old that are almost as fast as the young kids.
Yeah, like they were like at the Clash, they were a second a lap maybe off of like the top of the open mod, which, I mean, it's a lot for them. But I mean, if I was within a second of Dakota Fend, oh my God. I mean, I'm probably 3 seconds, 4, something.
Lap, yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm around that area. It's like, but I think with Lisa's age isn't a barrier. Look at the world's on road. Yeah, on road's a little different than off road, but I do agree. I mean,
I think it is, but I think there's to a point.
You can go longer in on road for sure.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why, because there's still like, it depends on the class too, but there's still super talented people.
Oh yeah,
in most genres that are, you know, these that are at the peak of their what they can do. And, you know, sometimes those guys in their 50s or 60s that are killing it just have more talent than, and are just better drivers than those guys in the 30s. And they just, you know, so they can compete still because they've fallen off of what they were, but they're still to compete, you know.
You know, that was such a fun race to watch. Like, I watched some of the race. in between rounds at jiu-jitsu, and well, like in the locker room when I was changing in between rounds in jiu-jitsu today, I was watching. It's like the track had a lot of character, but it wasn't a blown out piece of shit. It
No,
looked
I
like
thought
a
it
lot of
made
fun to drive.
yeah, I thought it made it really interesting because there was a couple sections that got rough,
Yeah.
and you had to drive differently than you did at the beginning. Off that big, they had that thing in the back, and then that 180.
Yep.
And then they had, I don't know if they did the whoops on purpose, but the whoops got like worse in some of those
Whoops never worked
switchbacks.
out well.
I don't think they were bad. It was um I don't think they were that bad, honestly, looking at what I saw. And then there was that section coming onto the straightaway that started to get blown out, and then that like that S section, and then that final corner onto the straightaway. But I
Yep.
thought it made for some really interesting driving. But that's what I would. I mean, if I had how many entries? 300 entries. If I had
400
400
something.
entries, 70, you said?
400 and something. I don't know exactly.
Let me look at. But yeah, if I had that many cars going on the track, I would hope for that too.
You know what? Yeah. Couple dudes I got to talk about. First off, Nitro Buggy. I'm super proud of Seth Van Dalen for holding on to that number 4 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Good
good
drive for
wheel.
him.
Yeah. And we were talking about this earlier. We've been waiting for Mason Fuller to get his big win, and he's going to get it at a big event like SIC or PNB. I've also been kind of waiting for Seth to get that because they have the speed, but I think once they get that win, they're going to get the feeling of what it takes to get that extra quarter of a step, that just little extra ridge that they need to get over.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, looking at the times, Seth was 2/10. Excuse me, I was looking at the wrong one. Average lap, which I know calculates and everything, but Dakota's was 30.3.
Yeah.
Lutz was 30.6. Mayfield's 30.9. Van Dalen's was 31.0.
Yeah.
Now,
that's fairly close.
It is, but that's still a lot. Like if Dakota's 7/10 a lap faster, you're not going to do it. So he's got to pick up some more speed. But what I will say is Seth almost caught up to the back of Ryan Mayfield, but he had a 6-second lap. Like maybe 5 minutes to go.
A 6-second mistake?
Yeah, I'm sorry, longer than the normal, and he lost all that momentum that he had gained until that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He can really throw down. He can drive at that 110% level. I mean, I see it on a freaking weekly basis with him just club racing. He just sends it without a care in the world.
Must be nice.
So, yeah. Super proud of local dude Sully Sawinski for making the intermediate electric buggy A main. Finish at 17th, but still a good run for him. And then we had some dudes. I want to see if I'm kind of curious to see if any other of our dudes made any of the other mains, because we had a few guys go, and Joe Scaramel making the 40+ electric buggy A main, finished 16th overall. Joe's a really good dude. He's got a lot of like good information about like wrestling and junk like that, and junk that work with like jiu-jitsu. He was ASICS wrestler back in his day.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. He was. Oh, Frenchie. So Frenchie was a Minnesota dude that moved over to Tennessee or something like that from France. That's why we call him Frenchie. He made the A main of Nitro Buggy. 40+, excuse me, 40+ Nitro Buggy. So yeah, man, we got a lot of good local guys. My desk is raising up again. I threw my phone down on the button.
I think Rose had a really good performance.
Yeah, Well, that's the thing too, though. It's got to be a little underwhelming for Brandon Rose because he won the race last year.
He did, but first big race out for him. I think, I think he broke in the Nitro main, but he
Okay.
got it eighth and a fourth, and I think that eighth, he had third, um, if I'm not mistaken, in that first final, and he just kind of just had a series of unfortunate mistakes.
Yeah. And that associated buggy is a little. Oh, Lee saying he broke that associated buggy is a little bit more on that knife edge. Might be a little less comfort for him.
Mm.
I know they're working on something new that I don't know the exact details. I know enough to where I can't talk about it.
What surprised me is the amount of technos in the A main
Because they've
out
been
of all the
developing.
brands.
Well, so you have Techno really didn't kick off until they had Mayfield. You had Seth and Jared working to get Jared Wiggins, and I think Jared Tebow was on there as well at that time before Mayfield came on. And they're kind of working together and figuring things out. And then Mayfield comes on, and then you have Mayfield Van Dalen, not just Seth, you have Sean Van Dalen. Sean Van Dalen comes up with some of the craziest, best stuff. Like for the longest time, everybody had a SNS. It's a Stu and Sean C&D block on their techno until I think techno came out with their own. But you have the Van Dalens, you have Jared Wiggins, and you got Mayfield. They're developing that car into one of the best in the world. Now, the next Worlds, it won't be on a super high grip deal like Spain. Right now, obviously, after the first 2 weekends without X-Ray, Dakota's my early pick to win 2025 10 scale and 2026 ace scale. But, I mean, you can't count Mayfield out.
I don't think you can either, but I think there are other people that I would put above Mayfield.
Really? So you put Wiggins?
Not in, well, maybe from the US, but from Europe.
Yeah.
And then you have some of those Japanese drivers that are just super talented that I've never heard of before, and they just show up at a race and
Yeah.
they're the top five.
Yeah. They're not, well, I shouldn't say they're not on. I can't find like friend suggestions on Facebook and pages to follow on Facebook. I've never recommended a Japanese professional driver except for Masami.
I got Masami, Matsukura, and Nayata.
2000. Yeah. Jacob checking in. Oh, thanks. He says nice commentary. That's a lot of fun. So
Rosby doing great. Promotion didn't seem to be doing too bad here. I don't know
not
who
too
was
bad.
on promotion exactly, but it didn't seem like
got a
anybody was
list.
out of place.
No.
Like at the Clash, you could definitely tell some people were out of place. From
Yeah.
where they normally were. It only really changed was tire.
Well, the deal is too, they're just getting into that 10 scale deal. It's gonna slicks. People think slicks. Oh, it's so easy. Oh, hell no. It took them forever to figure out the smoothie too. Because
the smoothie was pretty good, but you had to put the ring in it.
Yeah. So the smoothie too, there were also, what are the octagon tires where it had the octagon radials in it, and you were grinding ellipses or barcodes, and each worked different. Figuring out everything that goes into the slick has to be more difficult than figuring out a treaded tire because it's got to be right. I mean, if a slick's not right, I mean, you're not only off the pace if a slick's not right, it's gonna drive like crap.
Yeah, I talked to Paul Lemieux a little bit at the event, and he's coming out with all sorts of tires, and he's got both treaded and non-treaded tires. And he said the treaded tires are way easier to make and
Yeah.
have a lot less resources um, to make them in terms of dollars and time required.
So we're gonna see some gravity off-road tires. Yeah,
No,
maybe.
he has I mean I don't know what Paul's doing, but he has like the GT tires
Oh
and
yeah,
in terms of on road, I don't know if Paul has off road tires. Um but in on road he has, the Gravity Type C. He's
yep.
got the USGT, the VTA, and the GT12 tire. And those are all, well, the touring cars are slick, but then the other three are treaded.
Yeah, yeah. So Tyler Jones, it looks like he fell off the pace or might have broke or flamed out. He qualified 8th. He was on promotion, I believe. So
Okay. Was that the highest
yeah,
finishing promotion there?
I'm not sure. So we did, yeah. Let's see. Let's go through. Let's go through here because we
Just
had a lot of
curious.
Walker Spinrad went to promotion. I want to say
Hmm.
I want to say Tyler went to promotion. I think we covered that last time. Something that was surprising to me, and I don't like it to be honest. It might be for a paycheck. Well, it might not be. Maybe you found something better that you like, but Burak Kilic is out of Ninja Engines, and that might not mean a lot to you. When I race A scale, I'm a nitro guy.
Hmm.
My favorite motors have been the Ninjas because they're OS based and they were doing the same thing that Ultimate does now long before Ultimate was a company. Um, they take the best OS parts and then they build their motors.
That's what a lot of them do, don't they?
Yeah,
Or
Ultimate's
something to that effect.
yeah, Ultimate's really good. Really, there's only a couple motor manufacturers out there.
Hmm.
You have Nova, who's starting
Hmm.
over again. I've heard Nova Rossi is a different thing, and they still could potentially come back.
When you have OS.
You have OS and you have Reds. Reds is a total. I think Reds is Pico based, or they might be making their own now. Pico's
Yeah, I
another
was
one.
gonna. Yeah, I don't think Reds is their own. I think it's a based off of something, but I
It,
don't remember where I heard that.
I know Reds used to be based off Pico. They could be their own thing now. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So I mean, I think I. It's hard to say on some of these moves. Like, let's take these guys going to different motor battery manufacturers like Orlowski, Dakota. Um, there's probably some other examples, but Orlowski, I was looking at his page earlier today.
yep.
He's running Coyote batteries. He's got a Hobbywing motor, which he doesn't run for anymore,
Hmm.
and he's got an Elseram ESC. Now, why wouldn't he go with the Hobbywing, or excuse me, the Coyote motor and the Coyote battery?
Because that's simple. The the Coyote motor doesn't seem to make the same power. At least that's what it seemed like. I
I
saw
bet
it.
it's
I mean, I saw it at the Clash. That was like Dakota would get through the infield way quicker than Spencer, and Spencer would eat up every foot that Dakota gained. He would eat up every foot on the straightaway.
yeah, but so. I mean, we can. I think there's a variety of things that could be going on there.
Mm-hmm.
In Dakota's situation, he didn't have first
We know what
official
happened.
weekend on the electronics,
Yeah.
and I don't have um anything good or bad to say about Coyote, but I think if you're going to switch to all new electronics, it takes a little bit to figure it out. What you want, because if you're running, he was running Trinity for a long time, and he
Yeah.
switched to another brand, maybe the Trinity or 7 or whatever Dakota was running was really like, let's say it was a 7.0, it's really like a 6.0 in like a Hobby Wing or a Coyote. So
Right.
he's not, but so he needs to go down a turn instead of stay where he is. But it's kind of,
Yeah.
Jacob Coyote is I don't even is owned by Genzays, or the same people that.
Oh, yeah. I know AMA's the
So
main distributor in the United States.
yeah, which is really interesting. So what I was bringing up is that Dakota is running for Genzays and
Mhm.
Coyote. Um, I mean, they're like sister companies, or
Yeah, it
the
makes
same
sense.
people are involved, but
Mhm.
he's getting two paychecks, is what he's doing, instead of one paycheck. But I don't know if they would have paid him any more or any less. I
Yeah.
think Dakota's running their motors, batteries, motors and ESCs, and then
And
the Gen Z's
Genza's,
battery.
but Coyote makes the battery too. I mean,
Yeah, so I don't know why.
yeah.
I didn't get to ask him, and I didn't really want to be like put him out on the spot like that in front of everyone to see what was, but
Yeah.
and it's his business. Like it's his,
Yeah.
I don't, who knows?
I mean, you look great with it. It's just down that long straightaway, man. There was a difference.
Maybe he's just, I think a lot of that, like I said, is experience with the electronics. I know it is for me, and I know those guys are better than I am, especially like tuning and knowing what they need. And maybe he had too much power. Maybe he was spinning his wheels.
Could be. Rick says the
I don't
mass
know.
migration to Coyote is honestly promo only. I'm sure the team will fall after a year. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they can come up with.
I've got the money, so get
Yeah.
the if they can get the intermediate, those mid-level drivers like Joe and myself to buy.
Yeah. Oh no, you froze again. Crap. Man, I should just clip where Zach freezes. um, I don't know though. I mean, if you're Kevin Abbott, are you kind of freaked out? That's my question, because you get all of a sudden you got. I really thought that Fenn would go to Exalt, and Exalt probably doesn't quite have the funds yet to get Dakota. But man, I mean, Exalt looks pretty darn good. Oh, there he goes. He dropped. He'll be back in a second. So I am going to run a Cat 6 line down to the basement here. Yeah, it's been, oh no. Yeah, Rick, you make a good point. Until they bust into the spec motor game and are good at it, they will have nothing for Exalt or any other spec motor specialist. That's true. And Exalt looked pretty good this week. I mean, R1 for the win, but our Exalt looked pretty good. They really did. That's one thing we didn't talk about, but we'll talk about in a second is that your internet or mine?
It's mine. We
Okay.
have, according to AT&T, we have great internet, and they have never recorded an outage in
Oh,
our house. But
you mean the same great internet that we had at the track last weekend? That was.
that was Spectrum.
I
But
know, that was
yeah,
so frustrating.
that was
It's
really
like
bad.
there is a wonderful race happening and then boom, outage. It's like every 3 or 4 races there is an outage.
Hmm.
But at the TNR event, I bet you we're going to have nice internet, nice open skies. We're going to have the Elon internet going.
Starlink.
Yeah, we're going to link. He's got a few of them. So if we link 3 of them together, that
Hmm.
should be pretty powerful.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we're talking about next year. Matt's like, hey man, I want to run a Cat 6 through your roof. So he can go up there and put his Starlink up there the day prior to the race. Or maybe Eddie will get his own Starlink at that point.
Maybe.
I mean, Eddie's all about improving that joint.
Yeah, he is.
So, you know, he told, oh man, he's got a world-class oval there too that he needs a big event there. I'll go to a big frickin' oval event. So yeah, anyways, Ronald after has it been a year or two drops Fly Sky. Did you see that?
I did, and I don't know. I would like to know what's going on there because he's the only one who has left Fly Sky that I know of.
Yeah. It was really weird because I thought Dakota had joined Fly Sky last year, the year prior, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same.
yeah, and he didn't make an announcement until this year.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
maybe he was announcing he was yeeting Spectrum and would rather run the Fly Sky for nothing.
Maybe I'm not sure. Um, Such a funny image.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know he hasn't been running Spectrum for a while, but I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, yeah. Speculations aside, he actually signed a contract but it went along with Ronald Falk leaving.
Maybe they only have so much money.
Yeah. Because I know that they're probably paying Mayfield as well, and they keep announcing all these racers that for the longest time, like racers like Mayfield. Remember when he spiked his radio?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, F Mayfield, temper, 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 that type of thing. Well, Mayfield was not sponsored by Sanwa. Mayfield, well, I'm sure not Mayfield, but maybe like Jaycon or another one of the companies he's sponsored by bought that radio full retail out of their own pocket.
Yeah. But I mean, realistically, how many radios are you going to need? And as a pro, like, I wonder how
Yeah.
often are you replacing the radio? Once every 2 years?
That's a good question. I forget who it was, but it happened last year or the year prior at the Euros Carpet Off-Road event. And somebody was having an issue. Hey, Klein, check it in. How's it going? But somebody was having an issue, just having a rough weekend. And then when the event was over, he went from the M17 back to the M12S, and all of his problems were solved. All of them. I thought that I've been hearing that since M17 came out, whenever. Now there's a M17S.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know. I have everyone in On Road uses the San Juan radio. So
for a while, yeah.
no, right now, like there's very few and far between anybody else using any other radio.
Right, and the Futaba's plenty capable, and that Fly Sky looks plenty capable.
Yeah, there's a couple people that run the Fly Sky and say they like it, but no pros run it. I bought a new Sanwa M17 this last year after having my M12 SRS for like, I don't know, probably close to 10 years.
Yeah. I've had my M17 since 2018. It's time for a new one, but the problem is Joe 3 would need a new one as well because my M17 shot. So I'm in this dilemma right now. So I got a little over a dozen Sanwa receivers that are all in something. Like I have no spares.
Mm-hmm.
But is it worth changing? Like, do I buy the boy a ridiculously expensive, because he needs a left-handed, and I've said this before, we would be on the MTS or whatever the mid-grade Sanwa radio is.
Mm-hmm.
If it went lefty, that Fly Sky is a really good looking radio, but I want him and I. That's the best thing I started doing. Joe 3 and I are on the same package as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he comes up to me and tells me when something's happening, I can say, "Oh, I know what you mean," and either tell him to change his line or numb the car for him or do this or that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rick saying the Fly Sky is the best for the money if you need to swap hands. He's not wrong. I mean, so yeah, man. What else do we got? We got Rose to AE. I mean, dude, that took a painful amount of time for Team Associated to announce that.
Well, I tell you what else is taking a painful amount of time.
All the vintage stuff.
Well, yeah, but also, Cav to Mako.
Yeah, that one upsets me.
I mean, we don't even know what's going on. They finally posted some teasers. I heard some scuttlebutt that he was going to Mako, and I don't know what he has to offer. Realistically, like, I think they could have gotten. I don't know. Let's look at the list here.
They could have gotten him. They could have gotten Rose. They could have gotten Brandon Rose.
What about Tyler Jones? Or like
Tyler Jones is more of the family guy. Like he would be better. He would be better, but not. A lot of people are running the Sparko because of Tyler Jones.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like, I don't know. I feel like there are some people out there that would be available, like that, to make the show, but aren't always winning, but have the possibility to win. Like, Tyler's won plenty of big races.
Yes.
So is Brandon, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on with Mayako. I know that they wanted Dakota, and from what I heard, it wasn't the paycheck that was the problem. So I didn't hear anything else besides that, but they have the money is what I mean. So, and honestly, I think X-Ray for Dakota makes a ton of sense. He's got a ton of support.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, everything about it checks out for
Dakota.
All the boxes.
So, okay, the way I look at this Cav versus Mayako thing, it can go two ways. Cav can put his head down and start working and put what talent his world level talent out front again. Cav still has the talent. He did great at a lot of big, but it was 10 scale races. He did great at a lot of big 10 scale races last year. He really did.
He did good. Yeah.
And is he going to put true effort? Not just 30 weekends a year. That's not good enough. That sounds screwed up. 30 weekends a year. That's not good enough. I'll tell you what.
Well,
no, it's not. Because you just can't go to a track with a fresh car with the setup that JQ gives you and be like, meh,
It might be good enough by the end of the year.
The car is plenty good.
Right. Well, no, that has nothing to do with the car. It has everything to do with Cav. Cavs right now, he's focusing on 10 scale and 8 scale, and then did some 10 scale touring car last year.
Yeah.
He's not Dakota. He's not Quelo. He's not Nayato. He's Cav. Like, stay in a lane, pick a discipline, put your head down, do the work in that discipline, and be competent the next couple years. Look at Mayfield. He's older than Cav, I think.
Yeah.
they're both plenty capable drivers. I mean, Cam kicked my ass every day of the week, but
Yeah.
like that's not saying much. Like I don't run off road,
Well,
but you know,
he can't keep phoning it in. He did a great job with the Sparko. Then he went to oh fuck, he went to somebody else. And then he went to Sparko. And he phoned it the fucking for Sparko. He really did.
yeah.
You can't phone it in. And dude, I know JQ and Cav are friends. The question, yes, WIRC, you're right, Lee. Are JQ and Cav going to be friends at the end of this?
I think you could be if Cab does the work. If like I think I don't know if Tebow and JQ are still friends.
They were never
Or
really friends. And
what? Yeah.
Tebow says JQ is the like most horrible man in RC.
All right. So, I mean, there's quite a few of them then, huh?
Yeah.
Um.
I've met JQ
so,
and I would love to sit and have beers with JQ. I could never be a JQ employee. I could, you know.
I do. So, I mean, I don't know, and I don't if he doesn't phone it in, I think he could.
He needs to bring that real work ethic in. Jeremiah's chiming in long enough to say Central Minnesota needs a track still. Yeah, we know Jeremiah. The thing is the money. I've looked into it and I've been offered things and I did not take it. Speaking of Tebow out of retirement, he looked pretty darn racy this weekend because he said he had no pressure. He finished 7th in that Pro Buggy A main, qualified 5th. I mean, not bad, not like setting the world on fire, but coming out of retirement, he's doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think he did. I think that was a win for Tebow. Especially his age. We're talking about these guys. Mayfield, the last 6 months hasn't been wowing more, if I could say it like that. But he's still doing like a hell of a job.
Yeah.
And I think Tebow did a great job. And there's some other guys that are they're doing really good jobs. They're just not like I think they're at the top of where they're at, or like it seemed like since the world, Mayfield's not been where he should be. Kind of lost something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, that's going to be I think Tebow looked at the whole situation and he's like, well, I'm going to be at all of the American races anyway for JTP, so I might as well race. I mean, yeah. Oh, Dwayne Fisher checking in. Thank you. He also said I did a great job announcing at the Clash. Yeah, man, it was a marathon.
Wow, it was still. I think it was the right decision.
No, totally.
Angie that.
Yep. Then we got Jimmy Fishback to Techno. Yeah, it's a good move for Techno. Fishback can grow with them. Maybe move up into that pro class. Speaking of pro class that we didn't talk about the Clash, both Sutherland and Rendernick Rendernick's been mod only for a bit now, but Sutherland was doing mod only. And it's like, yeah, good for him,
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you see these guys, these young guys, especially like I've talked to Angie and Eddie about Talon and kind of his ambitions and stuff, and I think we see Talon move more towards that, and I know he can wheel.
Oh yeah,
mod. He did mod 2-wheel there, but he drove my mod 4-wheel and killed it.
Yeah,
absolutely killed it, and so I know he can do it. I think he wants to get some accolades in stock before he moves up, kind of like Schimmel did.
Yeah. Um, who else? I can't think of his name now. Sammy Moran was also running a couple mod cars as well as stock. So Sammy
Mhm.
Moran was running 4 of them. To be fair, main day he got sick.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, and he said it was a sandwich, but it wasn't because the rest of us ate the sandwiches as well.
Yeah.
It was something else.
That dude,
So
that norovirus is going around here. I got it.
yeah, well, I was half worried about that. Like, oh man, am I gonna come home and just lose all the weight I need to lose in one day?
It takes a couple days, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I was looking at myself in the camera. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be 10 pounds lighter for the TNR event because I did not like the way I looked in the camera when we did the end of the
You were
race recap.
you looked a little bloated.
Well, I was flying, I was eating a lot of garbage, all that, but no, you're right. I've been, and so since it's only been a week since I came back, but since I came back in jiu-jitsu, I haven't been working on jiu-jitsu. I've been working on wrestling and scrambles. I really had just getting that cardio back up. It's weird. My arms gas out before anything else.
I don't know about wrestling, but I talk to because I'm not super strong.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of the black belts about that, and essentially what they said is I'm doing it wrong.
Mm.
I'm using my arms instead of technique
Yep.
or instead of doing the right thing. So I'm like pushing instead of using my frames,
Right.
or I'm holding on too long, or I'm trying to overcompensate for lack
Hmm.
of technique with what strength I have. And so it's not, I'm doing something wrong. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dwayne saying maybe Dakota's Truggy got lost so he could spend all the time with the buggies and getting used to them. Yeah. You know?
I think, I don't know. That would be, that's a pretty good story, but I know he violated his contract by being in civilian clothes, but like he couldn't do anything about it. So
Right.
he's not going to risk his paycheck over that one.
Right. And I'm sure X-Ray is understanding on that. Like, hey,
Right.
my truggy and my clothes are God knows where.
Well, and who knows if Dakota actually had the things he needed at this event. Like
Yeah.
maybe there was some stuff in those bags, like some tuning parts or some
Oh, I'm
prototype
sure.
parts or
I'm
something
sure.
that were supposed to be. I'm sure Chicky's cars were good, but like you don't know every track and everything. Like even if you go
Right.
to the same track and then something's slightly different that day, like you might use something you don't normally use.
Right. Right. So got a couple more things. This one I liked. The 2026 On-Road Worlds being held in China. I don't necessarily like that, but people do. But it's finally a combined event. So it's
Yeah,
going to
I
be,
think
it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I don't know.
it's good. I'm also jealous, and I wish I could go. Uh, I understand the the what would be bad about the whole China thing, but
Yeah.
also like it's a beautiful country, and like I could go as a business trip too, and it would be
Hmm.
like a great win-win type thing, and then I get to go race on some beautiful facility. But you know, I have to watch from afar.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Here's the question. So since you've ran a Worlds, would you run mod again or would you do spec?
If it was on, I would do mod still.
Okay.
Uh, I think I could have done the realistically those track conditions were I'm unprepared to run asphalt touring. I don't have enough
Hmm.
experience for it. I wasn't prepared for those conditions. And I think if it was on carpet, you would have seen me bottom
Do
of the
better.
seat. Yeah, way better, way better.
Hmm.
I would have not like I don't have any, expectations of like anything like that, but like I couldn't tell you where my car was going to be going around that track.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
So, Rick, no, it's not. Well, it is combined carpet and asphalt, but the 12 scale is going to be on carpet, and I think on the inside, and the touring car is going to be on asphalt. I believe that's the way it's going to go.
Mm.
So it's all at the same facility. It's combined, but it's going to be 12 scale carpet and touring car asphalt. So. Dwayne's wondering, and this is what we're going to start getting into as well as Bruno and
Oh,
Infinity. Zach, as an on-road guy, do you think Infinity already has a prototype car for Bruno that he will be running? That is in the notes.
so yeah. So I watched I'm sure everyone else. We watched the video in of Bruno announcing he's going to run for Infinity with Francesco, and in that video they show some prototype parts. And one of those looks to be a motor mount that is
Yep.
not compatible with their current car. I based off of what I saw in the video. Like I'm not an expert on the Infinity car. I don't run it. I've seen one time, but I think it's safe to say that currently the Infinity car is not as competitive as the other top brands such as the Schumacher, X-Ray,
Right.
Awesomatics. Um, and I think that part of why, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I think Francesco being over there for a year before Bruno got there,
Mm,
um, he's got a lot of things figured out already
yep.
in terms of development for the prototype car. I think they probably have a prototype car, but not one they're ready to compete with.
Gotcha. Um,
Um, yeah.
have you seen one of those RC maker cars go around the track yet?
Yeah, I've seen many actually. So I saw a couple at Worlds,
Yep.
and then at Cleveland, the Team Zombie North America, Ryan Comden and his crew, they run the RC Maker car now because I think he's the distributor for Canada, or
Okay.
one of the distributors for Canada for the SB1. Um, and they looked really good.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean,
This
it
was
looks
in
like a super cool car. It really does.
this was in mod though, so I
Yeah.
don't know how it does. I wasn't paying attention in stock. Maybe they were running stock, maybe not. I don't know.
Right. So before we get into what's new at DRC, I got one more note, and I've said it a few times during this. I'm going to be doing the TNR event for Mod in California at the end of January. I'm going to be doing commentary for that. I'm really pumped. It was so much fun doing it. And now it's going to be an indoor event. It's away from all of the fires. So we should be in good shape. Well, it's not indoor. It's got a roof over it.
Yeah, kind of like
Thornhill.
yes.
Yeah. Lee Grace is saying RC Maker is strong here in Australia. Already they look awesome on a track. Guys are jumping for them. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could only imagine. The Right now it's touring car is a hotbed for innovation, and there's a host of new platforms coming out. The new Infinity going to be one of them. We
Yep.
still have the Team Associated not officially launched yet. The new Mugen's coming. I would expect a new Iris coming as well. There's some scuttlebutt that there's a new Awesome Max coming, and we know there's going to be an X-Ray X426 coming in the
Yeah.
fall of this year. So,
Well, I
you
mean
know,
that's a great thing about touring car. They all keep pushing each other so hard. Eventually, some fall to the side and some disappear. But I mean, the technology. I mean, look at an RS4 and look at the newest X-Ray. It's phenomenal. I mean, you
yes.
can look at a team car and look at a B7, and it's like, yeah, you see where it comes from. The
Hmm.
touring cars aren't even the same animal anymore.
No, and I don't know. I mean, realistically, the cars look the same as they did 20 years ago. Off-road cars, there's some
Yeah,
minor changes, but they look about the same.
yeah. Mid motor being the biggest, but yeah, it's like
Yeah, I
they
mean,
switch the transmission around, but you still got the same, slightly different link shocks, but slightly different shocks, but the same piston, setup. There's no innovation on dampening in off road. It's just a bigger bore scenario. Oh no. Zach disappeared again. So, well, while we're waiting for Zach, I'm going to pop up what's new with DRC and have this ready for it to go when he comes back. So, Jacob's wondering, am I going to do a couple more events this year with Mod? Well, I'm doing TNR, and then we'll see. Yeah, we're playing it event by event, but I'm having a really fun time. I mean, I've done a little bit here and there with Mod, and I always have a really fun time working with those guys. Working with Matt Olson, his fiance Megan, cameraman Chris, Shuey, the photographer. It's a great time. And, Sammy Moran's always with the crew. So, yeah, man. So we're looking at this WMH Racing distribution block. I am waiting for Zach to get he's got to put another quarter in the internet machine. Got to get him back on to explain this thing. I mean, it's pretty, it's a distribution block, but it's pretty cool looking. So, yeah, I am planning on doing more as long as Matt will have me. But I also have a real job as well. I mean, not a real job, but I also have a different job as well, as the way I should put it. And I also have a wife and a kid. So I can't be gone every weekend, but maybe after this one every month or every other month if he wants me to, and if he'll have me, I'd definitely be down for it. So Zach,
especially if Mod gets the Roar bid next year.
Oh, dude, yeah, the Roar bid. What if they get the world's bid for 2026?
Oh, that'd be sick.
I'm not gonna.
Jealous. So jealous.
If Mod gets the world's bid for 2026, I don't know what I will do to be put in that booth, but I want to be in that booth.
So cool.
It is. So up here I have the WMH Racing distribution block. We all know what distribution blocks are, and it's a good addition to your pit.
Right. Well, this one's a little bit different than
Yep.
the other ones that have been available on the market.
Okay.
So this one can handle the high amps. So we've put 70 amps on this.
Really?
And it's a continuous use 70 amps, and it's capable of handling it no problem.
Gotcha.
So that's really big. The other ones that you can buy regularly are rated for 20 amps.
Yep.
That's not enough.
No, that's not enough for anything.
Yeah. So, and $60 is a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but you know what? It's handcrafted in the US. It's all designed in the US. We make all this stuff ourselves. It's somebody else's designed here.
Yep.
This is a collaboration between WMH and I, but he's making it. It's his,
Yeah.
it's his product. He designed the board, the case. I had the idea, the cables, mine, but it's obviously got his logo on it. Mine will have the, this was about what it'll look like if you order it from me. It'll have
Yep.
the, the white DRC logo, and then the regular cable there. This is a UPS was supposed to deliver my box yesterday, but
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
have a box.
weather. Yeah, weather.
Stop it. We got 2 deliveries yesterday. It's not
Okay.
weather.
So because the case is 3D printed, you have so many flipping color options.
Right. So you have.
Ooh, I like this one here. It's like a teal. They call it green, but it's yeah. That would work well with my paint jobs.
Yeah, so that and the color options are through the whole lineup of this product. So
Yes.
the majority of the 3D printed products that we carry are from WMH, and get these customized products. If you like a color a lot, you can get that for all of the DRC products. Not all, but most of them.
Gotcha. Oh, there's black carbon fiber. $15 charge, but there's black carbon fiber.
Yeah, so and a little bit about why that's so expensive is because it has like a 50% fail ratio.
Yep.
And it's super expensive. So there's a good chance he's gonna have to print another case.
Yep. I'm
it's just waste.
We got a little 3D printer here, and you would be amazed just by the color. It could be the same PETG stuff, and you change the color. Like one will stick phenomenally, and the other one you cannot get to print to save your flipping life.
Yeah.
Same stuff, just a different color.
Yeah, and he's done a whole bunch of work with that, and he's figured out all that stuff. That's why I don't bother with it. This is like I had the idea. Well, I had the idea for a distribution block, and I've had a lot of people suggest I make one. But realistically, this has been a 7-month project to make this little thing.
So sorry, I'm just looking. So I could get the main in teal, and then I could get the DRC logo in orange. Oh,
it's gonna be butt ugly though.
But that's my colors.
All right. I mean, you do what you want, man. Yeah. So, and then beyond that, they have 3 amp USBs, so you can actually pull whatever you want off of. We didn't find the max rate on those USBs.
And I really like that option for the warming bag, because the new toolkit charger only has a USB-C on it. There's no USB-A.
Yeah, so DRC does offer USB-A to USB-C adapters. Or if you want, you can use this. And the cool thing is, so when we designed it the first time, we flipped the USBs the wrong way. So the DRC bags have the 90-degree USBs, and they were hanging over the 4mm connectors.
Right.
These ones, they go the other way.
So prototyping. That's why you do it.
Well, we spent a lot of money. We've probably spent close to $1,000 prototyping this board.
Yeah, well, something. When you start doing stuff like this with a board, it's going to cost a lot of money. Now, I'm not going to say the number, but I heard what Matt was saying, what it takes to make a set of pucks for a particular model. And I'm like, whoa, that was, yeah. So coming up with stuff isn't cheap. I mean, as you know.
And even though it's a 3D printed case, it's not as nice as like an aluminum case. But realistically, there's nothing like we can't get it hot enough to melt. It looks good. It's not a cheap 3D printed thing.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't fall apart. Which if it doesn't melt, it's not going to fall apart.
Right.
So you also have these JBC products that you added to your site.
Yeah. So JBC is a gentleman I met at Cleveland, and he kind of had some really cool like battery boxes, and he had some motor boxes and some parts trays and some things he designed. So he's from Canada. He's part of the Ryan Comden's crew, I think.
Okay.
And I think if you click any other product than that, there will be better pictures, Joe.
I know. I was just sorry. I was
That one, he's got to get more pictures up. So some of these products I didn't open myself, and I don't have the nice, puck thing, battery
Yep.
spacer. So I used some of his photos, and I used some of my photos.
Did I click on the same one? I think I did. Yeah, I clicked
No,
on the.
no, you didn't. No, just go down to the other pictures.
So
So he has two designs. The DRC ones I ordered with the pattern, so it has a bunch of the little burgers.
yep.
And then he has so we've got 9 colors in stock for them. This is the so he's got 4 battery cases from him. The stick pack and the shorty pack in the thin and thick. So the ULCGs and regulars.
Yep.
And then I think the next one is his picture. Yeah. So those are the colors that he has, and he's working on a new template thing, but that's what we got right now. And then those are the colors that I brought in. That's a picture I took earlier today.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's it's okay. It looks but you can see they're all plastic wrapped, so I didn't want to open them up.
Right. You want to keep them sealed. But yeah, man, looks good. It's cool. So is this part of the deal, or you're like, man, I have all this stuff I got to open up and put on the website, and
It's what I ordered though. So he it's on me. So we have that. We have a 10 scale setup station box as well, which is kind of cool. And then
it's just a box for a 10 scale setup station.
Right. So it has so there's a picture of it. So it has that base in it. That's the bottom
cool.
of it.
That's
so
super cool to have.
Yeah, you leave the base out. You take I think it's got a couple screws that hold it together. And then so you take the top off, you put that down, and then you take your top plate, put that in there, and then it has a little compartment in the top of the box for your thumb screws and caster doodles. So you don't have to worry about storing them in something separate, which would be really nice. And he travels all over the place with this thing, so he's been prototyping it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best products are made by racers.
Yeah. And so he's you can see they lock into the top too. So they're they're pretty secure. They're not banging around everywhere.
Right.
This is designed for the Hootie setup station.
Yep.
This is I think I should put the I think that's for on-road only.
Okay. I wonder the size difference. I wonder the size difference between the 10 scale off-road and the 10 scale on-road setup stations are.
I know the 10 scale off-road is a lot taller. I don't know exactly, but if you guys are interested in something like that, we can make it happen. He's got a few other products as well. He's got motor boxes, and he's got tire stackers, and he's got scale boxes, and he's got some other things. But like to start out with, I wasn't sure what to bring in, and it's kind of bringing in all this stuff is costly. So I did what I could. We'll see how it goes. I like the guy. He's super cool. The stuff looks really great, print quality. I'm not about the cheap quality prints. I'm done with those. I think there's enough people out there that have that I think it's covered.
Right.
And the printers now, especially like if you get a Bamboo printer, I think they're all pretty good. Um, and the colors are really nice. The designs are good. And so yeah, this is kind of what my latest product.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Those 3D printers now. So when I was at Micro Center buying my steering wheel for my iRacing unit, I almost put it back because the 3D printers, the 3D printer that I could have gotten for the same price that I paid for that wheel.
Mhm.
Oh my, it was like 4 spools. It was really fast, it was really smooth, but then it's like, I would play with it for 2-3 days and maybe figure out some cool stuff with it, and then like this one, the last thing I made for it was a GoPro mount for my electric e-bike or my e-bike.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things that I could do with a 3D printer
Mm-hmm.
if I had the time.
Rick has a good question.
Oh,
Are the battery boxes padded on the inside?
They are not, because it's a snug fit. So
Oh,
they don't move around. The batteries don't move around once they're in there. So it's not like a big giant walled hole. Now, if you have like between size batteries that maybe I'll provide some foam with them. So if you want that, I have some millimeter foam, a millimeter thick foam that I use for um, the discharge boxes. Geez,
okay.
that I could send with. Maybe I'll put that in there too. And the stuff's super cheap, so I don't mind. And I buy it from the manufacturer, so you got
Right.
like a giant spool like this big.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, yeah, man. It's
That's about
been
it.
good episode. I'm excited for the next one because we'll be closer to TNR. I will have raced twice since then also. So, Rick runs short, medium, and full size shorties. I do as well.
Uh, are you talking the battery height or
yeah.
because they have some that are mid length now too.
Yep. Oh, I see what you mean. So I'm talking. So Reedy offers your 6400 full size shorty. They offer a full or medium size, but a full size 48, and they offer a LCG 4800 as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna include the battery foam in here. It's a millimeter thick, so if you want, you can use that, and it's going to be the same price as on the site. So I just because I've already got it cut up. So
Sweet.
then you would put it in there however you would want. Putting a reminder on my phone here. Well, it's just too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm talking about this on a podcast, and then I got to go do dishes and help my wife with a couple things, and then I get to go to bed at like 11. So
exactly, and that's what I'm looking at too. I gotta go to bed and go to jiu-jitsu in the morning, and go to work and have a vendor meeting, and yeah, I'm pretty full as well. So
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a carpet off-road race I think I'm going to Blooming Prairie next week, and I'm gonna be doing an oval race a week after, and then it's off to TNR. But we'll do an episode before then.
Nice, cool. Well, until then, it's been fun, Joe.
I think silly season's finally over.
I don't think it's all the way over, but I think it's majorly over.
Yeah. All right. I'm Joe Zer Jr., and with me was my co-host, Zach Donathan, and we have ran out of talent. Have a good one.
See you guys.